So here we are, Canyons of the Ancients. Really cool visitor center up north of Cortez at Dolores. And we'll get some more shots in it. So this site for this visitor center is right in the middle of a little complex of 12th and 13th century masonry dwellings, little family dwellings that were up here on the hillsides. And as you can see, this is really quite a lovely visitor center, nicely architected, blending in with the surroundings. And this is going to be fun. Well, unfortunately, visitor center is COVID closed, so we will not be seeing inside the visitor center today, which it's okay. I've been there twice before, so it's not such a bitter blow for me. I did want to get one of their handout maps. Boy, look at this location here, looking right out on Ute Mountain, one of the so-called sacred mountains of the Ute Mountain tribe, probably the principal sacred spot. And looking across this valley, it's very cool. I'm going to go up to the top of the hill and get a shot from up there. Well, there's a nice little walking path from the visitor center up to the top of the hill, which I think is going to give us a really wonderful view when we get there. Not a very difficult path. As a matter of fact, it's probably what you would consider wheelchair accessible, fully paved and a very moderate ramp, and it's got a lot of nice little plant identification signs along the way, like this one for the serviceberry, which is this beautiful haha plant right here in the background. It has sort of a reddish bark, almost similar to manzanita, and sort of elongated leaves. It says it's one of the first shrubs to bloom in the spring. Small fragrant white flowers cover the bush, sometimes before the leaves appear. The fruit is small and seedy, turning deep purple when ripe. The serviceberry is widespread, growing at elevations from 4,000 to 10,000 feet. And you can take these serviceberries, there's actually a little recipe there to make a serviceberry pie. Who knew? Very cool. And from this little vista point, you can see across the valley there a little bit. We'll get a much better view further up. Well, at the top of the hill, we have the Escalante Pueblo. What an incredible location. This is a structure that further down there was a sign that said probably housed maybe 2 or 3 family groups, as many as 15 to 20 people. And it's on this hilltop looking down over the valley, down to Sleeping Ute Mountain in that direction, and through the gap between Sleeping Ute and that bluff down there, you can see off in the far distance the Chusca Mountains down in Arizona on the Navajo reservation, and then that long ridge to the south is Mesa Verde, and the cliff dwellings are off back in that mesa a good 8 or 10 miles. It's a long road to get up in there. And then we start looking around towards the east, and we get the beginning of the San Juan Mountains, and those snow-covered peaks there. The tallest one is Mount Hesperus. Nice little cloud cover behind. And in the foreground is the Dolores River, except in this place it's been dammed up and it's now a lake. We're going to go all the way up the Dolores River tomorrow to Telluride. And then coming on around, you see more snow-capped peaks to the north, also part of the San Juan Mountains. And now we're back to the Pueblo. And in the Pueblo, I'm not supposed to walk on the walls, so I'll stay off the walls. There are rooms for, a lot of these rooms ended up being for storage. Maybe the bigger ones like that one and this one were where people lived. But all the Pueblos had a kiva, and this is the kiva for this particular Pueblo. You can see that the stonework is all masonry. It's nicely done. It's smooth. It's perfectly circular. The Navajo, the Puebloan peoples also have this huge belief in having things look towards the east. So I'm actually looking west now, so I can't see below this wall to see the opening, or the sipapu, which is where the spirit world enters. But this is the Escalante Pueblo. Very nice. All right, well, now it's time to head back down the hill, getting back on the path. Look at that nice house over there. Those people have a 360-degree view, just about like what we had up at the Escalante Pueblo on top. Those mountains way over in the background are the Abajo Mountains over in Utah, over by Blanding. And this farm valley here, it's really kind of amazing. I mean, it's all farms now, but you know, 800 years ago, it was also a lot of farms. They just weren't big mechanized farms like this. They called this the Great Sage Plain, and gets enough rainfall to keep corn growing, and that's what they needed. So it's really cool, really a cool place. One more thing before we go here. Sleeping Ute Mountain, sitting across the valley over there, is sort of an intruder in the Colorado Plateau. Was actually formed, you know, millions and millions, tens of millions of years ago, when a big bubble of magma sort of floated up from the fiery parts of the Earth's center. And it didn't quite make it to the surface, but it made a big bulge in the overlying sedimentary rocks. And we're up here on the Colorado Plateau at above 6,000 feet at this point. And at one point, there were sedimentary rocks over the top of that peak, probably, you know, 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 feet thick. And over time, they eroded. But the basaltic magma-based rock that the mountain is made out of resisted the erosion, and so the erosion took place all around it and just exposed the mountain over a period of time. So it's not typical of the other sort of sedimentary and erosive features that we see on the Colorado Plateau. It's called Sleeping Ute Mountain, and you have to be at just the right angle to see where the Sleeping Ute figure is, and that would be basically way back out on the west side, about, you know, 20 miles or so, and just in the right perspective. And that big bump in the middle, which is the peak, sort of makes up the head of the sleeping Ute, the sleeping Indian, and his feet stretch down towards the south, down towards the Four Corners area, and that's Sleeping Ute Mountain.